Good afternoon, and welcome to our final session of day 3 of the Future of Transfer and Transition Summit. I'm Dr. Mary Jane McReynolds. I direct ACC's Office of Articulation and University Relations, and I'm pleased to be able to introduce an excellent panel we have today to talk about some very unique and innovative bachelor's degree pathways that ACC has created in partnership with several of our universities in the area. I am going to hand the baton off to Dr. Gretchen Riehl, who's our Associate Vice President for Workforce Education. And Gretchen is going to lead our panel through presentation and some questions. And please make sure you put any questions to the panel in the chat box, and we'll get to those at the end. So Gretchen, it's up to you now, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know we're the last session. We're between you and whatever comes next for your day. So I do appreciate you joining us. I'm really happy to be here. As Mary Jane said, I am the Associate Vice President for Workforce Education here at ACC, which means I have primary responsibility for the workforce programs here, but many of our workforce programs also have transfer opportunities, and many of the key transfer programs are on the workforce side. So I was delighted to be asked to moderate this panel on transfer, because transfer is for everyone. And as Dr. Koch likes to say, every student is a transfer student. So the first thing I'd like to do is to ask our panelists to simply introduce themselves with their title. So we will start with George Lynch.
Hi, everybody. My name is George Lynch. I'm a professor and completion counselor at the Rio Grande campus at Austin Community College, and I am kind of a lead advisor for the PACE program.
And Wade?
I'm Wade Bradfute. I serve as Executive Dean of Student Affairs for the South Region for ACC, and I work with the Pathways program with Texas State University.
Michelle?
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Landrum. I'm the department chair for the dental hygiene program at ACC at the Eastview campus.
And Saad?
Good afternoon. My name is Saad Eways, and I'm an old-time faculty of ACC. I'm a faculty member in the Physics, Astronomy, and Engineering department. I teach engineering and physics courses, and I'm here as in my capacity as the academic advisor for the Texas A&M Chevron Engineering Academy.
And Jeannie?
Hi, I'm Jeannie McGough. I'm the department chair for education instruction and childcare and development.
And Jim?
Jim Johnson. I'm a strategic partnership manager for Western Governors University, better known as WGU Texas.
Thank you to our panelists for being here. It is a really distinguished group, and we've got some really exciting programs for them to talk about. So I'm going to let them each kind of give you the thumbnail sketch of what their program is about. They've been given 3 minutes. So each of you have 3 minutes to kind of give us an overview of what your program is all about. I think we're going to go backwards. So Jim, let's start with you and the WGU OWL program.
Wonderful. That's a surprise, but I'm happy to do it. You got the slide presentation, if you can pop that up. And I'll be under 3 minutes. I've timed it. While we're waiting for that, I'll just give a precursor. WGU was formed in 1997 by 19 governors as a nonprofit independent university. All right, here we go. So what we're going to talk about today, one of our programs, obviously with ACC, is the OWL program. It's an acronym for Onward with Learning. Next slide, please. So WGU was designed to be different. We are competency-based education. We don't base our education on seat hours. We're totally accredited. We're totally online, very flexible with mentor-guided support. And again, we are a nonprofit university. Our number one priority is the student. Next slide, please. We're very affordable. So our tuition per year is going to run somewhere between $6,500 to $7,900. Folks are basically able to accomplish their degrees faster, so they actually spend less money. And that part of that is because of our flat rate tuition. I'll say that again, flat rate tuition. It covers 6 months of tuition for unlimited courses. It's kind of like an all-you-can-eat buffet. We also have a resource fee that covers your books and such, and options for financial aid. Number one on there, I would say, is scholarships, because last fiscal year, we awarded $20 million in scholarships nationally, $2 million in the state of Texas. And here's an interesting statistic. Of everyone that applies for a scholarship at WGU, 26% are actually awarded. So 1 in 4 people. Next slide, please. So we do have student support. We have tech support 24/7. It's free. Peer support, skill support, math and writing labs, emotional support, and now alumni support. So we help people get to their next step. Next slide, please. So what's the best fit for an OWL student from ACC coming in? We're looking for new or early enrolled ACC students seeking to pursue a bachelor's degree in one of our 16 programs in our Teachers College, our College of IT, or our Business College. Next slide, please. These are the programs. The red ones are actually the new ones. Next slide, please. So we have an OWL scholarship. It's $900 per term for up to 4 terms. And we co-advise while at the community college. So our team works with your team to help the student basically make a nice, smooth transfer. Next slide, please. So our OWL program highlights is we do have a lot of nurture, free transfer success courses, free social emotional interview courses, which is PackUp. And I can tell you more about that at a different time. But we do promote retention and completion of the associate's degree. It's very important to us. And we have a guaranteed reverse articulation. So anybody that does stop a little short, the associates will be granted through ACC through our program. Next slide, please. You must have a 2.0 and basically have 2 terms remaining at ACC to get into our program. Next slide. And these are the lovely and talented people that actually work with your team at ACC and with the ACC students, Travis, Miranda, and Lupe, and they're dedicated to OWL and OWL only. Next slide. So again, I'm Jim Johnson, Strategic Partnership Manager here in the Austin area. That's my email and my phone, and I think I got in under 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good for you. Thank you, Jim. Gina, you want to tell everyone about Tech Teach across Texas?
Absolutely. I'm going to drop inside the chat a degree alignment so everybody can have a quick idea of what our course is, what our program is. Our program is designed for students that are completing their Associates of Arts of Teaching at ACC to matriculate to a 1-year accelerated program for students to complete their bachelor's degree in early childhood through 6th grade education. Students will complete their associate's degree with their core classes in their education courses here at ACC, with an additional 2 courses that are outside the program map. But we have developed a scholarship at ACC for students to take the 2 additional courses that are required for Texas Tech admissions. The 2+1 has students completing their associates with us. And then when they leave us, they will stay here in the Austin area and complete an accelerated bachelor's in 1 year. The degree map shows the courses and the equivalents from ACC to Texas Tech, and the 2 additional courses, which are Geography 1303 and History 2301. These courses help students prepare for the certification exam, the status certification exam, to become a teacher. Our partnership includes ACC, Austin ISD, and Texas Tech. And as students are here leaving ACC and moving on to Tech, they'll stay here locally in the Austin area, complete their courses at night and online and on weekends, meeting with a site advisor every Friday and through the summer. I'm trying to remember the exact amount of time. I think it's 5 weeks in the summer and then every Friday for the remainder of the program. They'll complete a total of 14 courses through that accelerated year. And at the end of that year, they will have completed their student teaching, what's traditionally been called student blocking with Texas Tech, and they will do their summer school student teaching as well, and graduate in August of the following year of their ACC summer graduation to complete their bachelor's degree. The course costs about $21,000 for the whole year, but there are multiple scholarships available for students that are receiving their first bachelor's and have over a 3.2. They can receive a scholarship of about $9,500. I say about $9,500 depending on what tech has available. Sometimes it can be a little bit more. Sometimes it is right at $9,500. Students' requirements to get in are 2.75 and a strong support system, because it is a 2 years and 1 year program for that completion of the bachelor degree. The students are expected not to work outside of the program due to the expectations of the program. Some semesters, they will be taking 6 courses, as well as each day be in Austin ISD schools, either being a direct student teacher or moving from classroom to classroom, doing what has traditionally been called student blocking, where they will observe and work with teachers in various age groups. We have 2 programs available, EC through 6, early childhood through 6th grade, and math 4 through 8. But historically, in the last 3 years, and going into our 4th cohort this year, we've only had 2 middle school math teachers. So it's really very much targeted towards early childhoods through 6th grade potential teachers. And one of the great outcomes we've seen so far is in the 4 years, we've had each year a teacher of promise, which is essentially a new teacher is basically considered teacher of the year. And each year we've had multiple ACC students. After they've started teaching in Austin Independent School District, they have received teacher of promise for their campus. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And I'm going to put in the chat my, I was trying to put my, I can't do it, but I'll put my email in there later on.
Thank you, Jeannie. Michelle, tell us about the new program that we just signed with Texas Women's University.
Yes, so this is actually a brand new program. The ink just dried this summer, and ACC and Texas Women's University partnered to create an Associate of Applied Science and Dental Hygiene to a Bachelor's of Science and Dental Hygiene dual enrollment program. So in this program, the program allows ACC dental hygiene students to simultaneously be enrolled in TWU's BS in dental hygiene program. So they can basically earn their bachelor's degree shortly after graduating our program with their associate's degree. And then some of the advantages to the students is that TWU will grant admission into their BSDH program to any student that's enrolled in our ACC dental hygiene program. The total hours for the TWU BSDH degree is 120 hours. But what's really cool is that only 30 hours need to be completed at TWU, and the rest can be taken at ACC. So this is a real significant cost savings for our students. And then in addition, all of the dental hygiene courses that the students take at ACC will transfer to TWU and count towards the 120 hours. And then all the ACC courses are online and asynchronous, so there's flexibility on when they, as far as time and when they do the courses. And the students also have flexibility in their TWU course schedule. They can choose how many and which TWU courses they want to take each semester. Really the students that are best suited for the program, so the ACC dental hygiene program, we have the students have approximately 25 contact hours each semester in our program. And it is a really rigorous program. So the students that are enrolled in the dual enrollment program really need to be able to handle a pretty heavy course schedule. and have weekends and evenings available to do both their ACC and TWU coursework. So they too are also kind of expected not to work. They need to be really highly organized, have good time management skills, and be really committed to their dental hygiene education. It also may work best for students that are core complete when they enter our program at ACC, just so that they don't get, they're not kind of behind once they start. Really one of the primary challenges to this program, and again, it's really new, so we haven't had any students actually go through it yet, although we do have a few students that have been accepted and enrolled to TWU that will start in the fall already. But one of the primary challenges is that the suggested degree plan outlines a path for students to earn their BSDH degree at TWU really the summer after they graduate our program. But to accomplish this, they would have to complete 55 credit hours even before they enter our program. And the prerequisites and co-recs, which most of the students have completed when they get in our program, is only about 33 hours. This is important because we have a selective admissions process because of our limited space in our clinic. And we only accept about 18 students out of in a typical year, 18 students out of roughly 100 applicants. Therefore, we have to be really careful in advising prospective dental hygiene students and taking additional courses that would count towards the BS degree when there's a possibility they may not get accepted into the ACC dental hygiene program. So on the other hand, you know, if the students wait until they're accepted into our program, they're going to have quite a bit of catching up to do. But that just means it'll just take a little longer to earn their BS and DH degree, but they can still do it. It just may not be the summer after they graduate.
Thank you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Saad, please tell us about our very popular ACM Engineering Academy. You're muted. It's not a Zoom meeting if somebody doesn't try to talk while muted.
Sorry about that, but I'm here now. I think I'm loud usually. Maybe I should be muted. This is a co-enrollment program. It is aimed and designed for ACC engineering students. And of course, there are quite a few of them who really want to study at an A&M, and a whole lot more who really want to get a degree from a highly regarded institution. So this program is designed for them. They are taking ACC courses and A&M courses every semester. They are in the academy. And so this is a big deal to us, really, and a big deal to ACC students for two reasons. One, affordability. In our opinion, this is one of the most affordable ways to get an engineering degree from a highly regarded College of Engineering at Texas A&M. And basically, the reason it's affordable is for 2 years, give or take, you are paying ACC tuition and fees for calculus and physics and chemistry courses, and instead of paying Texas A&M tuition and fees, which are 6 times higher. Okay, so that really makes it affordable. Second is accessibility. That's the second reason. It gives the student a much higher chance of getting there to College Station from here, as opposed to the transfer pathway. And when I say much higher, it is 4 to 5 times higher based on our experience of the last 4 years. This program in this coming fall will be starting its 5th year. So it'll be 5 years old, and we would have a whole lot more data. Last year, our academy at ACC was #1 among 8. So just like that, we jumped to the top. And I think we're going to continue to grow. I can tell from A&M's expectations that they are expecting us to do very well and to continue to grow. The state of Texas needs engineers. Indeed, the world needs engineers. So it's really our responsibility, in this program to continue to prepare the students to pursue engineering educations and get engineering degrees. So I have some numbers for you, not a whole lot. For example, last year's cohort, we had 30% female in engineering. That is striking to me. That is awesome. We have 27% Hispanic students. And I'm ashamed of this number coming because I feel it's my responsibility. We only have 3% African-American students. And this was kind of more or less the average number over the last 4 years of the Academy's existence. We just simply need to do better than that. The 2019 data, which is the last data we have, the last year we have data on, 50 students, that's 69%, are still in the College of Engineering at Texas A&M. So 70% who started either the year before or 2 years before are still pursuing degrees at A&M. We have a lot of work to do. I know I do, and that is to really improve the opportunity for underrepresented minority students to get into this program, because I really believe in it, and it is just a fantastic way to get an engineering degree. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Saad.
You're welcome.
Wade.
Thank you.
Wade, please tell us about the Pathways program.
So the Pathways program is a coordinated co-enrollment program between ACC and Texas State University. It's an opportunity for students who are not accepted to Texas State to earn the right to become a Texas State student. They begin full-time, taking 3 to 4 hours at Texas State and taking 9 to 12 credit hours at our ACC Hayes campus. Students have 1 year to earn 24 credits, and at the end of that time, if they maintain a GPA of 2.25, then they're accepted to Texas State. They live in the residence halls at Texas State in San Marcos during this year. They're provided transportation to our Hayes campus by a Texas State bus. The program began in 2014, and so it's been going on for a while. To date, about 900 students have gone through the program. And if you think about students who weren't accepted but then matriculated, about 550 students so far have gone on to become Texas State students. The students are given intrusive support, not only by Texas State, but also ACC. We have a dedicated advisor at our Hayes campus who works with these students. The student affairs dean and the advising supervisor at Hayes are involved on a daily basis. They cooperate with Texas State in presenting an orientation in the summer, at which time students learn both Texas State and ACC policies, procedures. The students are pre-registered and then given support all the way through the program.
Thank you. And Jorge, last but certainly not least, tell us about the PACE program with UT. And if I'm not mistaken, this was our very first co-enrollment program.
Yes, indeed it was. So PACE stands for Path to Admission through Co-Enrollment, and it is our partnership between ACC and the University of Texas at Austin. And legend has it that the program was dreamt up on a golf course by ACC's chancellor, Richard Rhodes, who's still our chancellor, and then UT president Bill Powers, who were paired in a sort of charity golf tournament or something of that sort. And then less than a year later, we welcomed our first cohort in 2013. And including the students that are set to participate in this fall's 9th cohort, PACE will have had over 1,000 participants since its inception. Close to 90% of these students have successfully transitioned full-time to the University of Texas at Austin. The program has evolved a lot over the years to sort of accommodate, changes going on at both institutions, but currently PACE offers guaranteed transition to majors in one of 4 UT colleges: the College of Liberal Arts, the College of Education, the Steve Hicks School of Social Work, and the Moody College of Communication. And participants come from UT Austin's pool of freshman admission applicants. UT extends PACE invitations to applicants applying to those to majors in those 4 colleges whom the university would have liked to, but is not able to offer full admission. And so those accepting the invitation then what they do is they complete 24 credit hours at ACC and 6 credit hours at UT over the course of the fall and spring semester from a PACE approved curriculum. And then in addition to the hours completed, they have to maintain a GPA depending on the major of either 3.2 or 3.5 at ACC or 2.0 or 3.0 at UT. And those students who meet these 2 targets are guaranteed full-time transition to UT during beginning of their fall semester of the sophomore year. And PACE students are considered students at both institutions and are eligible for all the sort of amenities and services and resources that each institution offers, including on-campus housing at UT, access to the Student Health Center and Mental Health Center there at UT, and of course everything that we offer here as well. Yeah, that's the PACE program.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you all for outlining your programs. That sounds like there's lots of really interesting opportunities for our students. So the first question I have, and some of you have already addressed this, but what advantage does your program provide ACC students? Jorge, why don't you tackle that one first?
Yeah, so I think there are 2 things. One is, of course, cost. There is students save a lot of money in their first year by taking the bulk of their credits at ACC. They're given the in-district in-district tuition rate, and so that's a big savings. I've had parents at the orientation ask, can they do more than 1 year in PACE so that they could continue to get that low-cost tuition. And then, so that's one piece. And then the other piece is, I think it's a really nice year of transition especially for students who come from maybe small town backgrounds and are not used to the sort of scale of an institution like UT. They get smaller classrooms sizes in their experiences at ACC. They get more attention from professors and the other services that we offer here at ACC, and that can be really reassuring because their experience at UT is going to be much grander on a grander scale, and that can be very intimidating. It can be it's very easy to get lost in that if you don't know how to kind of ask for what you need or get look for what you need. So I've had a lot of PACE students actually say that they don't know how they would have fared had they gone straight to UT because it's such it's so sort of sink or swim over there.
Thank you. Wade, what about the advantages of the Pathways program?
So a lot of the advantages are similar to those that George just described. The support is a huge advantage. Many of our students are first generation students, and so the access to an advisor and an advising supervisor, student affairs dean, and the Texas State team supporting them along the way is definitely an advantage for students starting out. The other advantage also is the cost. There's definitely a cost advantage with the classes that they're taking at Austin Community College, and Texas State is also affordable. So it's an opportunity for them to get ahead and be successful.
Thank you. Jim, what about the advantages of the OWL program at WGU?
The L program allows the student to start to transfer early, to get accustomed to WGU. And part of it is something called the PackUp Program. It's another acronym that stands for Program for Academic and Career Advancement. And what it really does is it helps the student that might have some issues moving into a bachelor's program, especially one that's completely online. With COVID and such, people are more familiar with online learning now than they were a couple of years ago, and especially 20 years ago when we first got started. But the PackUp program is designed to support at-risk, underprepared students, and it could be just people that don't understand their own capabilities, and we help them with that. It might be they had a bad experience somewhere and they're thinking, oh, I shouldn't go to college. It's ways to help them transition and to be successful. And again, as a student-centric university, our mission is to get people their degree in one of 4 areas.
Thank you. Saad, what about the advantages of the A&M engineering program?
Well, I think it is a much smoother way to get to A&M and get a degree from A&M. If I look at the old days, and I'm familiar with the numbers, we used to transfer maybe 10 or a dozen students, engineering students, to Texas A&M. Right now, we are sending 60. So 10 to 60, that's a big jump there. And of course, the affordability. A student can stay at home, stay living at home if they're from the Central Texas area and be taking courses at ACC, lower tuition. That's a big difference. And also 50% of our students, the academy students, are ACC students who have been at ACC 1 semester, 2 semesters, even maybe more. So they're used to the system, they know the people, they know the faculty, and they're familiar with us and the support system. And I think that is a huge advantage. And there are academy students who can transition to College Station, after their first year, yet they stay here, 1 more semester, or some of them are 2 more semesters, of course, as long as they have still courses to take, which, transfer with them to A&M.
Thank you. Jeannie, what about the advantages of the Tech Teach program?
Well, there's a couple for the Tech Teach program. One, for the individual, the students are put in schools the first semester of their, what would be called their junior, senior year. They go each day into the campuses of an AISD school. They are working with a teacher, a veteran teacher, from the professional development week through the whole year. So they get to have an entire year of an internship where they are working side by side with a teacher. So the individual student gets to have so much understanding of the career field for education. But as a benefit of the community is we're keeping our talent local. We're seeing our students that are going right back into the schools that they may have graduated from 3 or 4 years ago, and working with people in their own communities. Getting to stay at home, getting to keep the talent local is one of the benefits to our community after they've been working with building stronger ties, building stronger community resources for their students and for families in the Austin, Central Texas area.
Thank you. Michelle, you already mentioned a few advantages. Do you have anything to add regarding the TWU program?
Well, yeah, I kind of already did that. But I kind of going off of what Jeannie just said, I think, keeping the students local is also another really big advantage, because there's not a bachelor's in dental hygiene program in the Austin area. So, and then of course, I've already talked about the cost savings and the flexibility, and really just time, because it is a really big deal that TWU will, all of the ACC dental hygiene courses that will transfer as part of their 120 hours. Because if the dental hygiene student wanted to pursue a bachelor's degree after they graduated, say in healthcare administration or nutrition or things like that, the dental hygiene courses don't tend to transfer as hours. So that's another really big advantage.
Thank you. Well, our next question is a two-parter. Which students are best suited for your program, and do they have to be enrolled full-time? Michelle, let's start with you.
Yeah, so yes, they have to be enrolled full-time in our program at ACC. There is flexibility, of course, like I said, as far as how many courses they want to take at TWU. Once they're in our program, as far as our degree plan, I've kind of outlined it, where they're really, except for that last semester, really just taking one course at TWU, just because our program is so rigorous and full-time. So
Thank you. Jeannie, how about the tech teach? Do they have to be full-time, and what students might be best suited for that program?
Thank you. So yes, the students, they will have graduated either in spring, fall, or winter, spring or summer or fall. And so they'll be done with their ACC courses. So once they leave us, they'll start their July cohort in the summer. There's a cohort each July, so there's only one. For when they do enroll with the Tech Teach program, they do need to be full-time, and they will be expected to be in schools all day and taking courses at night and on the weekends. The best student for that is a student who is able to compartmentalize. I'm trying to say this the best way, compartmentalize distractions. They would be able to find a way when, this is the third Saturday in a row that we have a friend's 4-year-old or 5-year-old birthday party. They may not go to all 3 birthday parties. They may send their child or their little brother or sister to the birthday party, and they stay home and work on an assignment. There is an expectations, because they are completing 1 year of their college per semester, that they will dedicate a lot of time to completing their assignments and making sure that they move forward in the program. So it is full-time. They do have fun, but it is accelerated. So there is an expectation that they will be able to compartmentalize outside distractions, possibly.
Thank you. Saad, what about the A&M program? Do students have to be full-time, and what students would be best suited for that program?
So the answer is yes, they have to be full-time students. And the average academy student is taking 11 ACC credits, such as Calculus 1, Chemistry, and History 1. And they are taking one course. It's an A&M engineering class, which is 2 credits. So they have to be full-time. It's really for engineering students. So these are students who want to study engineering and want to do engineering work afterwards. They have big plans and big ideas about, sending us into way outer space. Okay. And this doesn't happen overnight. Students who want to study engineering have figured out all along through middle school and high school, I'm pretty good at math, I'm pretty good at science, I can love to be in the chemistry lab, things like that, or the physics lab. So these are the students, that are best suited for the academy. And we want them. We
Thank
want
you.
them.
Jim, what about your program? What students are best suited for your program, and do they have to be full-time?
Yeah, they should be full-time, but our full-time is a little bit different than other schools. It's basically they need to accomplish 4 courses within a 6-month period. But most of our students accomplish 8 or more in a 6-month period because it's totally on them. They do have mentoring help. They have a mentor assigned to them to help them through every aspect of their college career at WGU. But the best students for us are going to be people who are looking for an IT program. We have 7 IT programs in the OWL program. Looking for a business program, we have 6 business programs, and we have 3 teaching programs. So those would be the primary folks to be good for WGU, good fit.
Thank you. Wade, what about the Pathways program? Do students have to be full-time, and who's the best student for that program?
So the pathway students are required to complete 24 hours their first year, and so they do need to be full-time. And it's best suited for students who want to be a river bat and a bobcat, but also students who need some extra support because we have 2 teams supporting them all along the way.
Thank you. And George, what about the PACE program?
Yeah, I want to echo what Wade just said. First of all, it is a full-time program because you're expected to complete 30 hours in 2 semesters between the 2 institutions, and also you in order to be suited for the program, you have to apply to the University of Texas as a high school senior. So that's really key. And you have to apply to a major in one of those 4 colleges. So, if you're looking to try to be a business major at UT, this is, PACE is not the program for you because that's not where you'll land. And I think, because it's such a heavy course load in these co-enrollment programs, you have to be highly motivated, and you've got to be a good student in terms of study skills, time management, and things like that.
Well, thank you all. So it sounds like all of these programs are for full-time students and with directed majors. Some are for just one kind of major, and others have a small menu to pick from. How does your program ensure that students persist and complete their bachelor's degree? Jim, I'm going to start with you. You've mentioned a little bit of this already, but I think you have a specific program in place to help students persist. Can you tell us about that?
Definitely. Well, it's kind of threefold. We have the PackUp program, which is from WGU Academy, which is a sister organization nonprofit. And it's a program to help people bridge any kind of gap that they might be facing. So we found that actually the accomplishment of getting through their degree at WGU is actually quite a bit higher by percentage when they actually go through the PackUp program. We have, as I mentioned earlier, dedicated advisors for the OWL program, and they will start working with the student while they are ACC students and then transition them into WGU, where they will have a mentor assigned to them. This mentor is somebody with a master's or PhD, and that's their one-on-one mentor that is there for them anytime they need help or assistance. They also have access to all of our faculty for any kind of assistance and get direct answers very quickly.
Thank you. Jorge, what about for the PACE program? What kind of supports are in place for students with that program?
Over the years, we've developed a lot of supports. First of all, all of our advising and orientation are done in collaboration with one another. And they occur at the same time. The programming that the folks at UT have developed for the PACE students is incredible. Career and major exploration, professional development, knowing about the resources that are available to them. Navigating 2 systems, I think, is really tough on the PACE students, but it also it really it really equips them to succeed when they do get over to their sort of final destination over there at UT, because they've seen it all. And so there's that. We also, the PACE program also has a mentoring system. Former PACE students serve as mentors to the new cohort each year. There are about 18 of them, I think, this year, a huge number. And they're a very accessible means or sources of support for the PACE students in case they have questions and we're not available. So yeah, there's lots of good stuff there.
Thank you. Wade, you mentioned that there were two teams supporting the Pathways students. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So at the Hayes campus, we have an advisor who focuses on the Pathway students, reaching out to them, and advising supervisor and a student affairs dean, who are all involved in meeting regularly with the Texas State team. They also are having regular group sessions where students can join in and get questions answered and support and just connect. So the connection is there as they move along. The students are pre-advised, pre-registered, so that when they come in the door, they're ready to go. They move together to a large extent as cohorts in some of the first classes. So a lot of support, a lot of relationships, and collaboration between the two colleges.
Saad, what about for the Texas A&M program? Are there supports built? How does your program ensure that students persist and complete their bachelor's degree in that program?
There is the ACC, I think the strong ACC support system all around. Specifically, I would like to mention the Learning Lab. For example, we have asked them way back at the beginning to add some tutors for the Texas A&M engineering classes, and they have done so. So there are tutors who tutor not only the ACC classes, but also the A&M engineering classes. I would also like to mention the dean's office, the dean and his staff. They have, especially in the process, initial process of acclimating the student to the process, registration, etc. I think they've done a magnificent job. We've been, I could say, liberal, for example, in doing course substitutions, in encouraging students to reverse transfer a Texas A&M class, for example, to ACC, so they can get their associates from ACC. And also with veteran students, we've done that. The Veterans Affairs Office requires that, well, to pay for this, all these courses have to be from ACC. What's this course here? You're taking a course from Texas A&M. So we've worked through the details, supporting them that way. So, their financial aid pays for that by doing course substitutions.
Thank you. Jeannie, I know you mentioned something about a coach for the students in Tech Teach. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, how that works?
Absolutely. So for the Tech Teach students, we have kind of two people that we work with. The initial person we work with is our Tech Teach recruiter, Voncille, and she works with me and the education department and a few of the courses in the math department to recruit students and let them understand and know about the program, understand how it is a compressed program, accelerated. And once they are enrolled in Texas Tech, I work with Emily Day, who is the site coordinator for the Austin area. And Emily works directly with Austin ISD. So we try to keep all three members of the partnership working together. So some of the ways that we work to make sure students persist and complete is we follow up with different opportunities in the fall and spring semester of their last year at ACC with information opportunities, with ways to connect with Austin ISD schools, whether it be with our observations in our Education 1301 or 2301 courses, or directly with Tech Teach. And then once we have students begin the program in each summer in July, we offer a boot camp for students to do directed studying and tutoring from AISD teachers and ACC professors to prepare them for the EC through 6 education exam. So students can focus on getting their exam completed by August, September, or October, so they can have their exam completed by the December deadline, so they can begin student teaching in the spring. So working with the site coordinator, she and I coordinated to make sure that the students, as they move through as a cohort, and that they're getting support from Austin ISD, ACC, and Texas Tech all at once.
Thank you. And Michelle, I know your program is brand spanking new, and you may not have as much of these supports built in yet. Are there plans to build in some supports for students to ensure that they persist?
Yes, and of course, we have such incredible resources here at ACC. We're really fortunate to have a health sciences retention coordinator, Luis Garza, who has been so helpful with our students. But in addition to that, TWU actually has articulation agreements with several other community colleges, and they have advisors that can specifically advise the students enrolled in these programs that really help them. And I think just also the flexibility that they have built into the program is going to help a lot. But yes, we have a lot. It's to be discovered, because since it's so new, we're just enrolling the first students. So,
But thank you. So Michelle, I think I'm going to leave you out of this next question, because it is has been the most, well, no, not this one. I'm sorry. What is or has been the most significant challenge in your program? And so I think for Michelle, other than just getting it up and running, is there anything been challenging about getting it started?
Well, I think just what I mentioned, that for the students really to be on track to graduate, like the summer after they graduate our program, they really, even before entering our program, they would have to have like 55, hours in the Texas core. And so, but we can't really advise them to take these classes until they're enrolled into our program. So we're a little bit in a catch-22 because we have the selective enrollment. So it makes it difficult to advise students to take these classes towards a bachelor's in dental hygiene, because we can't guarantee that they're going to be accepted into our program. So there's some of that kind of nuance on when and how to advise students the best way. That's really our biggest challenge right now, and how we communicate that on our website and things like that.
Jeannie, what about with Tech Teach? What has been the biggest challenge there?
I think the biggest challenge is how to grow thoughtfully. We want to make sure that when a student does enter this program, that they realize the acceleration does come. You will complete your degree within a year, but you will also miss out on some other things. And so we want to make sure that when students are joining the program, that they are there for the whole year and they don't get buyer's remorse. We have only had one student who was like, nope, turns out this was not built for me in our 4 years of cohort. But that one student, we don't want to make that push them away from ever becoming an educator. The goal is to create future colleagues for ourselves. And so we want to make sure that we are upfront about the information. And so by some of the ways we're trying to really do that is we're working with our recent graduates and graduates from 1 or 2 years ago, telling them, please give your experiences. So when students do say, oh, I want to be a teacher in a year, that they actually are like, and this is how I'm going to do it. They don't just say that I want, they've got their plan and their goals. Our big challenge is really making sure that all students are signing up for the right place for them and where they'll be the most successful, because what I really, really, truly want is I want to be able to work with these students as my colleagues.
Thank you. Saad, what about the A&M program? What's been the biggest challenge there?
Well, I think attracting minority students is the #1 challenge. And we need to really take that head on. And I'm going to make it my responsibility kind of to stir the pot, do something different, do something new, because it's just the percentage, especially for African-American students, is just simply unacceptable. And so we would like to really grow that. I forgot to mention in the last question that you asked about, and I want to give kudos really to the marketing department, the ACC marketing department. They have done a magnificent job. But I think we need to kind of both A&M and us spread the word to high school seniors, even high school juniors everywhere, especially minority students and schools that attend to minority students, that this program is a fantastic program. If engineering is on your radar screen, think about it, keep it in the back of your mind and start thinking about it right now. But these are really, I think, the two challenges to grow kind of, thoughtfully, as was mentioned, and attracting more minority students.
Thank you. Jorge, what about for the PACE program? I know it's been around for the longest of all of these programs, so it's probably in some ways the most mature. What kind of challenges have you had?
Yeah, I would like to think so. I mean, that it is a mature program. We're pretty well-oiled machine now, but early on, that when I think back on the first year, it was what a mess. We didn't know what we were. None of us knew what we were doing. But it's I think one of the things is staff consistency or staff stability. I think we finally stopped moving around over at UT from college to college, and it's it sort of has the program has a permanent home there in the College of Liberal Arts. It has an outstanding program coordinator for the last 5 or 6 years over there, and she works really well with us. And so that's been a big challenge, was coordinating our efforts to help these students and get through the program. They have the challenge of navigating two systems. We have the challenge of getting the two systems to communicate and coordinate and work together. And we've developed tools and a sort of infrastructure to do that very, very well now. And so we're in good shape as far as that's concerned. I too would like to see the program develop more in terms of what students we're admitting to the program, and a lot of that is kind of beyond our control in the sense that UT does that, but we've been able in recent years to express what we'd like to see when they do offer those invitations, and they're listening. So that's nice.
Thank you. Wade, what about for the Pathways program?
One of our biggest challenges has been money, and that is that we have different tuition and fee structures and different payment deadlines and financial aid disbursement dates. And so that's been something that we've worked on and struggled some with along the way. We've become very proactive in education of students and repetition to make that work. On the last question, when I was talking about the team supporting these students, I was probably negligent in not mentioning the multitude of people in both institutions who are also supporting the students, all the way from clinical counselors and support advocates and intake and campus managers and definitely the excellent faculty at both institutions who work with the students. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Thank you. Jim, what about for the WGU OWL program? Have you had any significant challenges there?
Well, basically, yeah, COVID-19 Although although we're an online program and COVID really didn't affect us in general. In fact, we had about 20% growth during COVID. It did get in the way of the OWL program because it was just being initiated at the time of COVID. So the OWL is actually something we're working with about 8 or 9 community college districts around the country, and ACC is one of 3 in the great state of Texas. So we're doing okay. Things are picking up now quite nicely.
Thank you. Well, that is really our time. And I actually had a couple more questions, but I guess we'll have to save them for another time. Mary Jane, did we have any questions, any hot burning questions from the audience come in that you feel need to be, or shall we let everybody go enjoy the rest of their day?
Yes, we can definitely let everybody enjoy the rest of their day. You covered everything that I think is salient for all of these unique bachelor's degree pathways, and we just really appreciate everyone's time.
Well, thank you, everyone. I think it's really exciting that at a community college like ACC, where we have a lot of part-time students and a whole over 100 programs to choose from, we have these very unique transfer pathways that we've developed for specific, in all cases, one or more very specific majors. And so, you know, send your students their way if they're appropriate for them. And thank you, everyone, for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sure.